In the difficult times of world pandemic in which we live, it is more important than ever to spend time with your family and stay home and really enjoy quality time with the people that matter the most. It is also important, however, to me to, well, keep doing things, be entertained, very important for the morale. And that's why in my recent videos, I'm spending more time than usual covering print and play games, because these are games that you can print for free. That's another important, interesting element. And make them with your kids, craft them together with your family, and then you play them with them. Today, I want to give an example of a game exactly of this kind, which is a free print and play game. You can find it by Googling the name, Good Little Gardens, or also by going on the website Arcade PNP, which is a great source for free and not free print and play games. Good Little Garden. This is a drafting game. This is just as small and portable as it is. When we start going out again, then you can also carry the game with you, but also remember, that was the game that we played back in the day in the great pandemic of 2020. Good Little Gardens is a card drafting game, so a la Seven Wonders Sushi Go. What changes is what you do with the cards that you craft, and that you pass around. So all that you need is pretty much to print the instructions and to print a deck of cards and then one card which is used for scoring. Very small deck of cards. I sleeve them because that makes it very easy. Frankly, you could even play with just, cut the cards and keep them paper. Just pure paper. You can mount them on cereal boxes like I do with some other print and play designs. But you will have this deck of cards. What you also need is 7 tokens for each player. So 4 tokens of one kind that will be placed on the score track. So it's good if they are little cubes, but it could be anything. And 3 tokens of a different kind to represent weed killers. Each player has 3 weed killers per game. In the game, you will try to create nice little beautiful gardens, and that's hence the name. So you take that card there and you put it where everybody can easily see it and get access to, and then you shuffle these other cards. Each card features 4 beds of flowers in different combinations. Some beds of flowers also have weeds there, and some have shrubs, and that's pretty much all you need to know for now. You give a hand, after you shuffle the deck, you give a hand of 6 cards to each player. Each player looks at their cards and chooses one to place in front of themselves. Suppose I decide to do that one, then I pass the cards to the player next to me and I receive cards from the player on the other side. And maybe I want now to do this because it looks pretty cool. And then I give the cards to the next player and I receive cards again. Each time I take a card, so everybody selects a card secret at the same time, then everybody reveals it, then you pass the cards and then you receive the cards. Each time that you take a card, you need to place it on the table next to a card that you already had. They have to have the same orientation. You can turn them by 180 degrees, but not this way because it looks weird. And each new card that you place has to touch at least one section of a previously existing garden. They can line up like this, they can line up like this, but not just by the corner only. And here, for example, maybe I decide to do like so. Give the cards to the next player, receive a diminished hand of cards. And you continue like this until you have, oh, that was nice, that was lucky. Until you have a garden of 5 cards. Suppose that is my garden at the end of this round. And the game lasts 4 rounds. At the end of the 4th round, we determine the winner. You also need actually a piece of paper and a pen or another writing instrument to keep track of score from round to round. So once everybody has a garden made of 5 cards and the 6th card from your initial hand is discarded, we get to score. First, each player decides if they want to kill any weeds using one Other weed killers, remember you only have 3 per game, and I decide, for example, to kill that weed there, and that's it for that thing. Then each player selects one of the colors to be the main scoring color for that game. Technically it's called in the game the abundance color. And I decide to choose light blue for this round. I place my token there, and maybe my spouse is playing with me. This round chooses to use that as her main color. You're keeping track of these because each game you can use each color only once as your main color. So next time I had to choose another one, not light blue, maybe I choose this one, and so as the game progresses, the options shrink for each player. Now, the main color will score you 2 points for each space in your main general area of that color. So I selected light blue, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, that's 14 points. I covered the weeds because if you have flower beds that have uncovered weeds, they don't score. It's like they're not there. So that would be the situation. These two don't score, and so my main plot of my abundance color is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That would be 10 points. But I prefer 14 to 10. Then, for the other colors will look for each color in the other colors for which you have a space of at least 3. For example, I would have one there with red. I score a number of points equal to the number of rounds. So this is round 1. That scores me 1 point. Oh, actually I have this one also that scores me 1 point because for each of the color, I look for spaces of at least 3. Doesn't matter if there are more than 3, doesn't matter how many you have, each color you have a space of at least 3, and it's not your main color, then for each you score a number of points equal to the number of the round. This same situation in round 3 would be 14 for this one here, and then, did I say round 3? Then yes, then 3 and 3 points. Also, your main color, usually you will have all of your main color together because that's how you want it to be. But if you happen to have something else of your main color that is not attached to the main thing, then each of those is worth 1 point each. This is just it. The weed killers that have been used are discarded, and then the cards are reshuffled and you start another hand. No, that is not it. I forgot another important thing, the shrubs. The player who has the most shrubs scores 5 points, and so if no one has more than 2, I score 5 points. It is a tie, everybody scores those points because this is a game about being nice and making nice little gardens. So we score the points from the main color, secondary colors, possibly the shrubs. We take all the cards, we shuffle everything, we record the points that we scored, and that's it. We continue like this for 4 rounds. Remember, as the game progresses, you will have fewer options for your main color, but then the secondary colors also get to be worth more points. I'll just make a fun little, I don't know, imagine that at the end of another round, this is my situation. I'm doing it just because I like the way these little gardens look. So this is the game. It's very simple, as you can see. It's very simple. It's as simple as Sushi Go, if not more, because you have fewer things to score. You only have to score your main color, secondary colors, and the shrubs. And remember, of course, to use the weed killers. It's great that you only have 3 per game because there's budget in there. It's great that your options shrink as the game progresses. In this game, I would probably want to use, well, that one or that one. So this is the general idea. You play and you score points at the end of the game. It's such a simple game, and yet it is so effective, and yet, especially for something so simple, something that comes for free also, it's so fun. This is really enjoyable. I mean, this game is more enjoyable than a lot of other little fillers that you have to pay for, and they come in a fancier box and nice production, etc, etc, etc. Here you get the files for free, and then you can make it look as nice and fancy as you want, as cheap as you want. To me, recently I started sleeving the cards for my print and play games, and this is my own deluxe version. My print and play games used to look even worse than this. But this looks nice and it's perfectly playable, as you can see. The flow is fast, it's simple. You can think of it as a Sushi Go variant, or if nothing else, you can use that definition to sell it to your spouse, to convince your spouse to play it in case your spouse doesn't play very often. Like is the case with my spouse, because actually I managed to convince my wife to try it, and she really liked it, and she is one tough judge of games. She's hard to please. She likes games that are simple, so a couple of minutes to play, a lifetime to learn, maybe no more than 20 minutes to play, lifetime to master, and it turns out that this game really pleased her. She liked it, and I like it too. I play with my daughters, they also like it. It truly is a game for the entire family. It truly is a game for the difficult times of pandemic in which we live, because you can play it with your family. And what if your family is busy? Then you can play solo. The solo variant is pretty simple. You still have your 3-wit killers. Each round you draw 3 cards face up and 2 face down. And that's pretty much it. And then you choose which card you want to take. You can take 1 card from these cards here, and suppose that's what I do, in which case all of the other cards are discarded, and then I repeat the procedure. If I don't like the cards that I see too much, then I can choose to take a card from those 2, but if I make that commitment, I am committed. Once I reveal them, then I have to take one of those, whether I like it a lot or not so much. Would that be a good idea? I have no idea. But this is how you play. This is how you play the game. If you have shrubs, you always win the shrub contest there. So this is the general idea. If you play solo, and you can definitely play solo. I played it and it's quite enjoyable. It's not nearly as fun, mind you, as the other version, but you have the solo option if that's what you're looking for. And then, of course, in the solo option, you're trying to beat your previous score. So this is for Good Little Gardens. It's simple, it's fun, it flows so well, it has just enough decisions to make it interesting, just enough strategy. It really looks good. It costs nothing, absolutely nothing. It's fun if you make it with your family. And it's even more fun, of course, if you play with your family. I'm really impressed by a design that is so simple, so linear, costs absolutely nothing, and it's fun, and frankly, is more fun than a lot of games that you had to play to play. Good Little Gardens, so try to build it, give it a try. We had a lot of fun playing it, and we will have more fun playing it, because I think this is a game that is here to stay.